So we got Isaac, Caitlin, Maddie, Kirsten, then it's gonna be Braxton, Carolyn, because Gordy's not able to make it today. Just a couple things, please, who can be the one that every time says, did you get somebody to video yourself? Who can remember that? Because every time I'm not gonna remember that. Nobody can remember it? You're gonna be timekeeper and remembering that? Mm-hmm.
She's multi-talented.
This girl is in charge of a lot of stuff. Okay,
Isaac,
and then.
who's gonna record you?
I've got it set up.
Okay.
It's already set?
Wow, that's
Okay,
advanced.
whoops, this isn't what I wanted. Okay, and I have one other job that I'd love somebody to help me with that's not a speaker today. Who's not speaking today? Okay, I would love to have, can you guys kind of job share? Every single speech, I need 2 people to do this for you. So you hand it, you just don't ask people, just hand it to them and say, for this speech, but don't do it right before each one. Like, for example, right now, would you please do this, okay, for Isaac, and you're gonna do for Isaac, okay? Next speech, you'll do the same thing for, yeah, mix it up,
okay.
everybody needs to do 2. So you guys
Is your recorder on?
Yep.
you could each get one, you could each get one each time.
Okay. Isaac's already taken care of.
Isaac's good,
Perfect.
and he's good on that, and if you are worried about it being loud, Isaac, then you can sure shut that door. The reason why I put the switch the desk out is just, you can move this wherever you want or not use it or whatever, but I want you to be able to not be like stuck with that huge desk up here, so.
Is the clicker working?
I hope so, it works always in my other classroom, I don't know. Yes. I think there's a warm-up thing on this or something, it takes a few minutes. Oh, you have your own? So yes,
Okay.
it is. Yay, okay. And you know how to run that with the green button?
I do not.
Okay, you're looking over there won't help, because what I did while you were logging in is I just blanked this so people didn't see your codes that we're putting in. So it's this button, you shouldn't need this again then,
Alright,
unless you wanna get that off of there.
thank you.
The green button, you bet? Okay. All right, and everybody please make sure you turn in your assignments over on that big desk over there too, stapled, turned in hard copy before class is done. All right.
Also get an on their essay.
No?
Well, they don't start until Thursday because they don't wait here until Thursday, right?
Everybody just gets a week.
No, on that essay.
No? No, it's due today.
Oh, so they just have to come in and turn it in today, even if they.
It was,
today?
that was told the first day of class, right?
Yeah.
So you could have turned it in any day. This is just the maximum right now. So the way I look at that is, if it's not there, it's late. This wasn't about if you speak today, because this was the whole semester you guys got to turn that in.
This was the highlight, the outline?
No, that's the outside speaker.
This is the outside
that's
speaker
outside speaker.
Oh,
analysis.
outside speaker. Here,
That's
real
due.
quick. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
So no, is that not how students see it? Because I see it as day one, I told you about this, right?
I'm sure it's not.
And you're sure it's not how people see it, but to me, if you don't come today because you don't speak today, that's not an excuse. It's still due today. So there's no benefit to those people. Okay. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Oh, I might go over there next.
Did you give her your outline?
Yeah, it's underneath that binder, put it on your desk. My outline's underneath your red.
Underneath the binder. Whew. That's pretty small for my old eyes.
Sorry.
That's okay, I'm like, what?
Do you want me to hold it because it's cutting off your head a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. That way you can see yourself. Okay.
Do you mind, Isaac, if I move back since no one's there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna go for it, just because it's better back here if there's no one around. Give me the- Okay. Alright. You ready?
Alright, let's do it. Good morning, everybody. My name is Isaac Schultz. I've been a gymnastics coach since I was 14 years old and currently a level 10 gymnast. That's the highest level you can go in the Junior Olympic program. Today we're going to be talking about the biomechanics of this gymnastics tumbling pass. Try that again. So, we see a lot of flipping there. Let's break it down into some basic shapes. So in gymnastics, there are two big effects that gymnasts use to change their energy and add energy. I call it the spring effect, where you snap from a hollow position to an arch position. That creates rotational energy, which a gymnast can use in all sorts of ways on every event. And some basic playground physics, the merry-go-round effect. When a gymnast tucks up, they get smaller and spin faster. When they widen out like this, they spin slower. They can use that to control their rotational energy. So we see a lot of that in that gymnastics tumbling pass. And that does not look very easy to comprehend. We're going to break it up into three sections, three skills: the roundoff, the back handspring, and the back layup. There we go. Starting off with the roundoff. A roundoff is the very first skill in a tumbling pass, and it is where a gymnast turns their speed forward into speed backward. Why do you want to do a roundoff? Well, good question, slideshow. It adds energy to your tumbling pass. It looks a whole lot better when you're trying to do a backflip to do a roundoff before it than to just run backwards and then try and do it. And it'll help convert that run that you're doing forwards into horizontal energy. The four biomechanical phases of a roundoff are the run, the hurdle, the cartwheel, and the snap down. The run is where the gymnast accelerates from 0 to their maximum speed in about 3 steps. They gotta go explosive fast. The hurdle, they're going explosively fast, and they put their leg up like this, and then stop. Their feet contact the ground, and their body keeps on moving. This moves their center of gravity over their feet, and in the next phase, the cartwheel, they put their chest, arms, and upper body down to the ground and begin kicking and whipping their feet over the top. And in the next phase of the snap down, their feet snap together and they get to a tight, hollow position, which creates even more rotational energy down into the ground, and they run into Newton's third law and go much higher. So now you look at the roundoff with a little bit more insight. The next phase in our tumbling pass is the back handspring. A back handspring, the gymnast starts out facing backwards, generally from the roundoff, and ends facing backwards, having traveled almost 2 body lengths in the blink of an eye. Here's a demonstration. A back handspring is used to add a ton of power into the tumbling pass. And it sets the gymnast up for a much better flip at the end of the tumbling pass. The 4 biomechanical phases of a back handspring are the jump back, the block, the snap down, and the rebounds. In the jump back, the gymnast has just come down from their roundoff, and they throw their arms and chest backwards down towards the ground and enter a tight arch position. And their hands hit the ground, the next phase begins, the block. They push with their shoulders and snap their body from that tight arch to a hollow position, creating a ton of rotational energy, which is going to hit the ground. By the time they hit the ground, they're on their feet in the snap down, and they already begin raising their arms for the rebounds. In the rebounds, the skill and the entire tumbling pass culminates, and all the energy you put in the run, the hurdle, the roundoff, the back handspring, all comes together into height for the rebound. Now, off of the rebound, we do a back layup. Back layup is a backflip in a stretched position, a laid out position, where the gymnast is fully extended. Like that. back layout is commonly used as a finishing skill and used for lots of developmental. Everything in gymnastics that flips backwards stems from the back layout. Double backs, double twists, double flipping double twists. A strong back layout is important for all of that. The 4 biomechanical phases of the back layout are the set, the ride, the spot, and the landing. In the set, the gymnast continues that upward momentum from the rebound and continues lifting their arms all the way up and stretches really tall and rises as high up as they can, extracting as much of that energy into vertical height. And they're slowly flipping. In the ride, about the time their feet reach 11 o'clock, so up like this, and they're flipping backwards, about 11 o'clock, their arms snap down to their sides, and they snap into a tight, hollow position, like we saw at the beginning, which creates more rotational energy to continue the flip. In the spot, at about 2 o'clock, maybe 3, the gymnast sees the floor, they look at it, and judge how they're going to hit. If they're going to hit in a bad position for landing, like on their face, they can speed up their flip using that merry-go-round effect by tucking their legs, or it looks a whole lot nicer, tucking their legs, or they can slow it down by extending their arms. This position, or in this, the gymnast is extending his arms to slow the flip. The landing is the most important part of the tumbling pass. This is what makes or breaks it. The gymnast needs to dispose of all that energy they just used without taking a single step. They do this by leaning forward and putting their arms out to get as much of their weight as possible forward of their feet, because they still have a lot of energy going backwards. And they bend their legs to absorb the energy from the impact. So, looking back, we've done the roundoff, the back handspring, and the back layout, and seen some of the body positions through it. We can now look at this with a little bit more insight. If you're interested in learning more, I highly recommend the USAG website. There's tons of free information on there that you can browse for free. Thank you very much.
Good job, Isaac.